Fayetteville Maronite Catholic Church sends relief fund directly to Lebanese families. The parishioners of St. Michael Maronite Catholic Church in Fayetteville, NC mobilized to raise and send over $8,000 directly to communities and families in Lebanon affected by the staggering explosion in August. The upheaval the country of Lebanon had already been suffering under a perfect storm of Syrian unrest, high unemployment, a COVID-19 pandemic, and a corrupt government. Then comes the devastating explosion which, by many reports, was the result of incompetent leadership in the government. One can only imagine the additional health, economic and personal complications affecting communities and families in Beirut and all across Lebanon, which can be attributed to this blast. At the time of this release, reports estimate that around 200 people were killed, 5,000 to 6,000 were wounded, and 300,000 displaced while much of Beirut is in ruins and researchers are testing air and dust samples for toxic compounds, writes Rasha Riddi, reporting for Science magazine. Direct help the parishioners of St. Michael Church don't have to imagine that scenario. Many of them, including their newly arrived priest, Reverend Adib Salameh, have friends, immediate families, and extended relatives living there, some directly in the blast radius of the explosion. Those personal ties are partly the reason which led church members to increase assistance to the Lebanese people. One parishioner related an experience this way: "My friend's parents live in Beirut and the explosion blew out the windows in their home, covering them with glass and inflicting cuts and scratches. They had to move in with relatives until the damage can be repaired, with no timeline as to when this can be done." This is just one incident among many, including more serious injuries and death, experienced all across Beirut. Reverend Adib's parents and several of his relatives live in and around Beirut and Junay, a moderate-sized coastal town approximately 10 miles from Beirut. Because of them, he was acutely aware of the suffering caused by economic distress and other factors previously mentioned. He knew that high unemployment coupled with the burgeoning cost of basic living expenses was creating a wretched state of existence for the entire country of Lebanon. He has regularly been sending money on a monthly basis directly to families needing assistance. When he first began sending monetary aid, Reverend Adib quickly learned that the physical amount actually reaching his intended destination was reduced by almost 50% because of wire charges, charitable foundation commissions, and government appropriations. So instead of employing those traditional channels, Reverend Adib set up a direct pipeline for funds to reach affected Lebanese families and communities. Now 95% of the funds are getting to the people who really need them. Inspired by Adib's example, and because the local St. Michael Archangel Catholic Church was founded by Lebanese immigrants who migrated to America and settled in Fayetteville, the parishioners of this little church with the big heart began raising money in earnest and sending it through the pastor's pipeline directly to Lebanese families and individuals who needed it most. The results have been heartwarming. Basic living needs such as home repairs, food, water, and medical treatment have been provided to several families. Lives have been saved because of this, as at least 2 people who needed surgery were able to get it. Reverend Adib has been gratified and impressed by the generosity and diligence of his flock. He says they know as disciples of Jesus that we are called to help those in need. It is a tribute to that spirit that this small group of parishioners are able to produce help for those they might never meet. It is our calling. The challenge continues. Adib is aware that there is still much to be done and the church will work to provide as much help as it can over the coming months, raising money, sending cards and letters of support, and praying for those that are oppressed. They welcome all the help they can assemble. Donations by check or money order may be made out and sent to St. Michael Church. The address is 806 Arsenal Avenue, Fayetteville, North Carolina 28305. Note: Lebanon relief on the check. Administrators can be reached by phone at 910-484-1531. About St. Michael Church. St. Michael Archangel Maronite Catholic Church is a small parish located in Fayetteville, North Carolina in the community of Eastern Catholic Churches and is under the guidance of the Pope in Rome. Many American community Catholic parishioners have experienced the Maronite Eastern Mass, and those who have encounter a special participation experience involving singing and the spiritual richness of the Maronite liturgy, with many prayers spoken in the ancient Aramaic language. Everyone is welcome to celebrate Mass at St. Michael and do not have to be Catholic or Maronite to attend. However, only baptized Catholics can receive communion or other sacraments. Find out more by visiting the church website, www.michaelsmaronite.net.